Mr. Singleton, thank you for recognizing the COINS Act, the outbound screening legislation from the last Congress that I worked on. And I do agree with you that we do need legislation to address capital flows into China, especially to Chinese entities of national security concern and technologies that threaten our national security as well. Last Friday, President Trump issued an executive order titled American First Investment Policy and issued a national security memorandum that was in large measure aligned with the principles of the COINS Act. He said in conjunction with that release, we will adopt new rules to stop U.S. companies from pouring investments into China and stop China from buying up America, allowing all of these investments that serve American interests, meaning that it's exactly the right policy. It's the America First policy. Red light to investments that compromise our national security, but allow those investments that actually advance our interests. My question to you is, given the fact that the administration has now issued an executive order, it replaces the Biden executive order on outbound investment screening. Is it important that Congress act as well here? Is it important that Congress pass legislation to provide statutory definition to all of this?
No, absolutely. And thank you for your leadership on this issue. I mean, cutting off Xi's access, I would say, to Western capital and technology is like depriving a fire of oxygen. I think if we don't, we're sort of very much fueling the system that is seeking to overshadow our own. I was very impressed with the policy release memo last week, but it's vital that those protections be codified into law. In many respects, the memo released last week goes a little bit farther than COINS by identifying new sectors, including biotechnology, which I would argue is the next semiconductors, where we need to be hyper vigilant about capital flows. But I think what's captured in the COINS Act is exactly the right pitch perfect moment. There's bipartisan consensus. I know it was a long road to get there, but I think at this point, it's the best hope for right now.
Yeah, and thanks, Mr. Singleton, for recognizing that the Treasury White House release is slightly different than COINS, and we've actually been reaching out to the administration asking for interagency technical assistance. We want to incorporate that into the release of COINS 2.0. What would you say, though, to the argument that, and obviously because of my work on this, I support the effort, but what would you say to those who make the argument, and it's not altogether a bad point, that under Xi Jinping, China has abandoned the American innovation model, that the Chinese Communist central planning has replaced private allocation of capital with state-run investment, and because of that, between 2018 and 2023, the number of annual startups founded in China has collapsed by over 97%, and that Chairman Xi's crackdown has really deterred U.S. investment. Since 2018, U.S. venture capital deals in China have fallen by 87%. In other words, the market is taking care of this. China's economy is collapsing. China's disadvantage is that they're communists. And so outbound investment is slowing down because it's a bad place to invest. Do we still need COINS? Do we still need an investment screening tool?
No, absolutely. I mean, Xi Jinping is his own worst enemy, and his economic stewardship has led China to where it is today, which is on the point of economic collapse, quite frankly. I think what we have to do is protect American capital, American investors, and American technology, and institute through law common sense guardrails that ensure that American capital isn't flowing into the very technological sectors that are being used to fuel Chinese military modernization. And I think that linkage between the military and the civil, particularly as it relates to investment screening and bans, is essential, if for no other reason that just because China's economy is suffering today doesn't mean that they can't recover tomorrow.
Well, I agree with you, and I agree with President Trump on his executive order. Look, it's true. Chairman Xi has, in some regards, made China uninvestable. Why on earth anyone would want to invest in a communist economy where at any moment's notice, at the whim of the bureaucrats in Beijing, all of your investment could disappear? Nevertheless, there are capital flows. There are Western investors, U.S. and otherwise, who are investing in some of these critical technologies, and so we do need legislation. I appreciate your testimony. I yield back.